Hi folks, welcome once again to Mr. H's Weekly Recaps. Here we try to give you a little bit of an overview of what your students have been doing in our 12th grade Government and Economics classes, as well as our 11th grade Honors World History class. This week, just a quick little introduction before we get going on what kind of the content of the courses has been, is we have our high school conferences going on. Friday will be an early dismissal day, and I will be available from 12:30 to 3:20 for conferences. And some of you guys have already signed up and sort of set up your times as far as when you'd like to come in for that. Monday, Columbus Day, we will not be having classes as normal. It's actually a full conference day, so I will be available from 8 a.m. to about 7:20 p.m., obviously with lunch and dinner kind of factored in there, available to set up conferences. I have a link set up on my website to a site called You Can Book Me, and basically I have time slots, 15-minute time slots set up where parents can pick a time that's best for them and set up a particular period of time where they can come in and talk to me. Another reminder just to throw out for the good of the order, on Tuesday, when we are back in school regularly, we will also have kind of a messed up schedule that day. We have a 2-hour delay in the morning. We have meetings that are taking place for the faculty, and then students will get a chance to sleep in as well and then kind of come back to class from there. So please keep those times and dates in mind, and if you have any questions, you can always email or check the high school website. Let's talk a little bit about our Gov and Econ guys. This week is the first full week that we have devoted time to our mock election. We had a kickoff on Monday, kind of going over the requirements of the simulation and the roles. Students then got to pick who would like to play the parts of Pat Toomey and Katie McGinty, our U.S. Senate campaign here in PA, which is what my classes are focusing on. And then from there, we developed our leadership positions: campaign manager, image director, communications and organizational director, and also our research teams. And students have since been using class time, using kind of the second half of our blocks to get together, look at expectations, look at goals they have to, and also some of those hard deadlines that we have coming up. This week our focal point has been on polling and kind of getting students out there to talk to their peers about what issues matter the most for them. And then from there we can kind of craft a campaign strategy, or the students can develop a campaign strategy that is to best suit their candidate and play to their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. On Wednesday, we took our econ exam. Hopefully those grades will be coming up here shortly, so that we are officially done with our first unit, moving on to our new unit, which is elections, political parties, and kind of teaching students everything they need to know about the parties and kind of how campaigns work and elections work, as we also go through the simulation and get a little bit closer to November. This week we talked about party ideology, we talked about political parties and kind of the history behind them, third parties. Right now we're in the midst of discussing the rules of elections, a little bit of election law, and also the role of money and the Electoral College in political campaigns as well. So a lot of kind of eclectic topics, but all kind of tied together with the simulation and with kind of where we're going this fall. For the world history students, this week we are kind of getting towards the end of our first unit. We have been discussing kind of absolute monarchs. We talked about the ideas behind absolutism and kind of the concept of divine right, something that's very European, but you can find it pretty much in all the civilizations we're going to be looking at as we close out Unit 1. We spent a lot of time talking about the Ottomans, and kind of what made them a successful empire and what made the Ottoman sultans kind of fit in with this idea of absolutism and divine right. We are right now kind of working our way through feudal China and looking at the dynasties and kind of how that played a role into this idea of absolute monarchs. And then we'll be rounding out the week by hopefully talking a little bit about feudal Japan, and then ending the unit next week talking a little bit about the British monarchs and the Magna Carta, and provide a little bit of a wrinkle to this idea of absolutism, kind of a little foreshadowing to where we're going to be going in Unit 2 with the Enlightenment, the Scientific Revolution, and some of the big revolutions that are going to be coming down the pike. Students participated in our latest round of Socratic Smackdown, a discussion over who handled the Black Death better. Was it the Ottoman Muslims or was it the European Christians? And kind of an interesting discussion developed from that based on some of the resources and evidence that we provided to them in their Socratic Smackdown packets. And then the other big project we're going to be working on in the honors class is kind of a little bit of a review activity. It's something that I'm trying brand new for this semester. I wanted to tie some geography and just kind of the worldview of our units together in a very visual way. So students are actually going to be working on an annotated map project in class in small groups, kind of building an annotated map, a large-scale annotated map, and then adding in all the topics from our units to it. We'll kind of progress from there. I'm not sure kind of where 100% I want to go as we add more units to the course, but definitely want to see a little bit of an artistic side from our students rather than just, discussion, debate, and writing. The other item that students are going to be working on this week is we offered up our first DBQ essay, which deals with the Reformation and some of the history that we've covered already. Encourage your student to get on the classroom, take a look at the documents, look back at their notes, and just start crafting this first essay. What I try to do is once we get those essays is I provide tons of feedback to students, and then we basically do a rewrite from there, and then students get a second shot at the essay with all the feedback and all the suggestions I make. This is great practice for any of your students if they plan on taking an AP test or an AP social studies class next semester or in the coming senior year. This is great practice for them because this is kind of the basis for what AP history classes are all about. If you have any questions about coursework, Google Classroom, technology, or conferences coming up here very shortly, please feel free to contact me, email, phone extension, and we look forward to seeing you guys both this weekend and over conferences and in the near future.